The world has ended. And yet, some people still believe they are in control. Carol Sturcker is driving through endless desert roads, 400 miles from the nearest soul, humming a song about the end of the world. But make no mistake, she does not feel fine. Not yet. Because freedom, when it comes at the cost of isolation, isn't freedom at all. It's a cage. And in 48 days, Carol will no longer be confident or arrogant. She will be broken, begging, desperate for the very people she swore she didn't need. Meanwhile, somewhere on the other side of the world, Manousos is walking into danger through terrain so hostile it should have stopped him, through traps set by men long gone, through nights that stretch like the shadows of the dead, and every step he takes brings him closer to the one person who might finally awaken Carol's humanity. But who survives in a world with no rules, no allies, and no second chances? Who truly holds power? The one who manipulates others, or the one who refuses to bend? In this episode, the line between survival and surrender will blur. The masks will slip, secrets will surface, and what you thought you knew about Carol might be the exact opposite of the truth. Are you ready to step inside the silence and witness the breaking of a woman? The desert was silent, too silent. A silence so wide it felt like it stretched across the entire dying world. And somewhere inside that silence, Carol Sturcker hummed the last song she would ever pretend to feel fine to. A thin strip of black highway cut through the sand, like a scar, sharp, old, untended, forgotten. Her car moved along it as if guided by something far older than her fear. 415 miles from Las Vegas. 415 miles from everything she once promised herself she'd never return to. And yet, she drove. Above her, the sky shimmered with heat. Below her, the earth trembled with memory. Something was coming for her. Or maybe something was finally leaving her behind. And this moment was the beginning of the breaking of Carol Sturcker. Because in 48 days, she wouldn't just be alone. She'd be begging, crying, calling out for the very people she swore she didn't need. But let's not jump ahead into the darkness. Not yet. For now, let me take you to the moment where the mask still held, where Carol still believed she was in control, where the desert still pretended to be harmless. Let's go back to day 12, before her world began to collapse from the inside. Carol pressed her foot on the accelerator as the heat shimmered across the windshield like living glass. Dust blew sideways across the road, whispering in a language only solitude could speak. She hummed that old, ironic tune, "It's the end of the world as we know it," the line echoing softly in the hollow space of her throat. She didn't finish the lyric. She couldn't, because Carol didn't feel fine. Not then, not later, not ever. But she pretended. Pretending is what kept her alive. She rolled into the abandoned gas station, the kind that looked like it had been forgotten decades before the joining ever happened. A crooked neon sign flickered above the entrance, growing faintly like a dying heartbeat. Inside, shadows clung to corners. A forgotten cash register sat under a blanket of dust. And Carol, eyes sharp, posture stiff, became someone else entirely. Confident, demanding, cold. A woman borrowing Kumba's cruelty like it was armor. She slapped her palm against the counter. "Switch on the pump." Silence. She tightened her jaw. "Did you hear me? Switch on the pump." The figure behind the counter, frozen in time, forever trapped in the joining, offered no defiance, no emotion. But Carol acted as if she needed to dominate him anyway, as if controlling a frozen world proved she wasn't the one losing control internally. She demanded a red Gatorade, ice cold. And when it wasn't, she sent it back. Because the one thing she could control in a world emptied of life was temperature. But that confidence wasn't real confidence. It was a mask, fragile, thin, splintering at the edges. And when she stepped back outside, scratch-off ticket in hand, The lie shattered just a little. She won $10,000, and she laughed. Laughed like she believed it mattered. But the desert didn't laugh with her. The sky didn't laugh. The silence didn't laugh. Because in this dead world, money was worthless. Recognition was worthless. Arrogance was worthless. Everything was worthless except survival. And Carol had no idea that survival, real survival, was already slipping away from her. As night fell over her empty neighborhood, Carol lit fireworks on her front lawn. Bright colors exploded across the sky, wild and chaotic, painting her face in shifting reds and blues. She sang Stars and Stripes Forever with a grin that didn't reach her eyes. On the surface, she was celebrating. But look closer, really look, and you'd see something else. One beer missing from a six-pack. Fireworks meant for crowds being fired for no one. A clown statue sitting beside her, its painted smile frozen in mockery. Carol wasn't celebrating anything. She was marking time, drowning out the silence, pretending that loneliness wasn't swallowing her whole. But when the wolves howled from the distance, echoing long, eerie, and predatory across the fields, her heart stuttered. For a moment, she wasn't the fearless version of herself she wanted to be. She was a woman alone, a woman who knew that if those wolves came for her, she had no one. No neighbors, no police, no Helen. That was the moment the camera moved, panning slowly around her as if circling prey. And when Carol threw her head back and mimicked the wolves' howl, it wasn't bravery, it was desperation. Connection to the only living voices she could hear. Her first call and response in 12 days. And that was terrifying. The next morning, Carol woke up and did what anyone does when they're given total freedom. She pretended it meant happiness. She played golf alone, dragging her bag and shotgun behind her across the silent green. She stole a luxury car, sliding into the leather seat like she'd earned it. She floated through the spa, letting warm water hold her like a heartbeat she no longer felt. She visited the museum, walked past every painting, stopped in front of one. Belladonna, the deadly nightshade. Beautiful, violent, a flower that kills slowly. Carol whispered, "Mine," and carried it home. But even then, surrounded by stolen beauty, her mask flickered. Because Belladonna wasn't just a painting, it was a mirror. Beautiful from a distance, deadly up close, and eventually poisonous to itself. By sundown, Carol wanted connection. Not survival, not power, connection. She demanded the others prepare a dinner, her favorite restaurant, her favorite wine. Memories arranged like ghosts across the table. She sat at a table meant for two, alone. And when the auto piano started playing I Will Survive, something in her face fell hard, like someone had reached inside her chest and twisted. Her fork shook, her breathing stuttered. The city around her felt too big, too empty, too loud. She wasn't living. She was surviving. Barely. And for the first time since Helen died, Carol let herself feel it. She wasn't free. She wasn't powerful. She wasn't safe. She was alone in the largest cage imaginable. And loneliness in this world was not an inconvenience. It was a predator. And it had begun to hunt her.